Hi guys, and welcome back to Keep Smiling Adventures, and today we're doing the before you ride the Gower bikepacking route. A nice, simple, really quite an easy route. There's not too much to say, but I always do one of these sort of round up the trip that I've just done. So today we're going to be going over everything you need to know before you ride around the Gower bikepacking loop, including like what it's like to camp, what the terrain is like, giving it a difficulty rating, 1 being easy, 10 being super hard, and also an overall rating of how I personally found the route, 1 being don't bother, 10 being great, get out there and give it a go. So let's get into the before you ride the Gower bikepacking loop. Let's do it. The Gower bikepacking loop is a simple adventure of only around 50 miles or 80 kilometres. Taken in the beautiful Gower region of Wales, the Gower was the first area in Britain to be named an area of natural beauty in 1956. This route will take you all around the Gower, showing up its beautiful coastline and amazing beaches. This route is a mixture of on-road and off-road, with plenty of pubs and cafes along the way to stop and enjoy yourself, and plenty of opportunities for some lazy time on them beaches. The terrain is a mixture of double tracks, small rocky bridleways and grassy tracks. This route combines a bunch of different bridleways and roads, so a GPS would be useful for navigation. If you are looking for a holiday type ride, a nice relaxing overnighter exploring the Gower, then this route is a good option as it takes pretty much all of it in. Or if you are a beginner looking for a route to get started in the world of bikepacking, this route will be a great option as the ride isn't too long and you are never too far away from the built up areas. If you want to do a bikepacking trip in Wales without having to deal with all the real hard stuff, the mountains and the brutal climbs and the techie trails, this route is a great option, as the trails are all mostly rideable, with nothing too challenging or technical, just the odd short hiker bike up a couple of short steep climbs. Also, there are a couple of steep descents, although these are pretty short, but some good breaks are required for riding down these. This ride lends itself well for a shakedown ride before a big trip to test your setup, or just a good, nice day out riding as it's not long or technical. This ride could definitely be done in one go also. Although, personally, I think it makes a great overnighter trip, giving you plenty of time to check out the beaches and enjoy the natural beauty of the area. This ride is relatively straightforward, but a couple of things to note is that this route has a couple of footpaths towards the end of the route that you need to lift your bike over the gates, which leads to some overgrown areas, so it's probably best to just avoid that section. And also, some of the bridleway trails are quite hard to follow as there isn't always a well-trodden trail, and you are just aiming in the rough direction where the last sign said to go. This route is suitable for most bikes as long as you have some good brakes for the steep sections and mountain bike gearing. You do not need any big rubber or suspension on this ride. A gravel bike with 35mm tyres would do nicely. Most of the trails are pretty straightforward to ride and are mostly not really technical. Just make sure you can lift your bike if you are going to follow the exact route as on bikepacking.com, as there are a couple of gates. Now, if you want to wild camp on this route, then there are a few things to remember, and the main one is that you will have to be pretty good at stealth camping, so setting up late and leaving early are a must. And ideally you will probably want to use a bivvy or a low profile tent, as although there are a fair few places to set up camp for the night, the Gower is a fairly well populated area and can become quite busy in the summer months. Most of the places I would have been happy to camp were quite exposed to the weather, so bear in mind that if you do decide to wild camp, the weather can make it a bit harder, with lots of places being open to hit by the wind. But another option is to find a B&B or a hotel along the route, which there are plenty of, and plenty in good locations minutes away from the beaches. Just be prepared to book these as early as possible, as this area gets very busy. The nearest train station will be Swansea train station, where you will most likely need to book your bike on the train as the bike spaces are limited. From Swansea you can follow the coast all the way to the start of this route by following a shared use cycle path along the seafront. This route is a pretty straightforward route and as such a great route for beginners, so I will give it a difficulty rating of 4 out of 10. The route being short and not very technical makes this a great route to test your bike and give a bikepacking trip a go. With everything being in arm's reach, you are always able to bail if you need to. There is no real need to be self-reliant on this route, and there will always be people around. My final rating for this route will be a nice 6 out of 10. The route is a very simple route with some nice, fun, easy riding and some enjoyable trails and a couple little hiker bikes just to remind you that you are still in Wales, even though it doesn't feel like it. This route will give you some beautiful sea views to enjoy and it is well worth a visit. Plenty of places for pub stops if that's your thing, and a great opportunity to explore the first place in Britain to be named a place of natural beauty. So guys, there we have it. There's the before you ride the Gower, what I thought about the bikepacking trip around the Gower. It was a great way to finish off the St Helen for me, just to get to explore a little bit of a different side of Wales, a less extreme version of Wales, not so mountainous and just crazy. It's just generally a really beautiful place, definitely worth a visit and definitely a great place to just take your bike, have a little look around, maybe a little overnighter trip with this route, because it just generally is a really beautiful place. So if you have found this video helpful, consider giving it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing, and until next time, keep smiling, enjoy the adventure.